Hi everyone, I'm Michael Short. This is Let's Go Outdoors.
Let's go outdoors where the waters run clear and cold. Mother Nature's world is better than gold. So much to see, so much to do. Let's go outdoors, me and you. Let's go outdoors.
Let's Go Outdoors with Michael Short. Supported by the Alberta Conservation Association, conserving Alberta's wild side.
Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Go Outdoors. I'm Michael Short. Coming up, we take a closer look at the work that goes into training instructors who in turn give first-time anglers an introduction to the world of fishing. Our TV program has been coming to you from the studio here at the Royal Alberta Museum's Wild Alberta Gallery. In a little bit, I'll introduce you to Deborah Andrews, who will give us some details on other great exhibits you can take in on your next visit to the museum. Mineral licks can be found scattered throughout the Rocky Mountains. We'll tag along with a few Alberta Conservation Association biologists to find out why these sites are of such great interest, not only to biologists, but the animals as well.
These boots were made for walking, but definitely not in this snow. So I'm gonna give these snowshoes a try and we'll see if I succeed. That's coming up on Let's Go Outdoors.
I think we can all recall our first fishing story. Was it your father, grandfather, or other family member, or perhaps a friend who took you on your very first fishing trip? But for a growing number of first-time anglers, that first fishing experience now comes through community programs.
If you're using the reel that's facing that way, the spool goes on that way.
Instructing the instructors. That's the idea behind a program that sees veteran anglers from the Alberta Hunter Education Instructors Association spend time with volunteer instructors and going over all aspects of fishing techniques. Breaking preconceived notions about fishing is one of the biggest challenges facing these instructors.
Sometimes they have preconceived ideas already, and some of those things trying to change them so that they're teaching them the proper way.
Should these guys go grab rods from the bin or? Yep, so go ahead and grab one that looks reasonably nice.
One of the benefits of kids learning from certified instructors is ensuring they understand the basics of fishing and some of the safety concerns.
I started and I had mentors. I had my father and my uncle, and they mentored me from the time I started fishing and hunting. Their ideas and their principles and beliefs was what taught down to me. Now with being involved with the hunter education and conservation education, we're learning that there's some new things out there, and the way we do things are a little bit different. Still, safety, of course, is an utmost, so that was important, and that was drilled into me at a very early age, even with fishing, because the last thing we need is a hook hooked in the back of your ear or in the back of your skull.
And it's solid.
Developing a relationship with the Instructors Association has proven to be a positive step, according to one of the youth program managers with the City of Edmonton.
I think it's important to have people who actually know the instruction. My staff are really good outdoorsy guys who, they've biked and canoed a lot, but fishing is one of those things that not everybody gets the chance to do. And we're passionate and proud to be able to share that with the kids in the City of Edmonton and the surrounding areas so that they can learn from somebody who's an expert and we can pass it on too.
When you cast, it's just like you open your finger like you were pointing at the spot you wanted to go.
Of course, it's convincing kids to get out and take up fishing in the first place. That might be the biggest challenge.
Playing outside will help them be able to focus in schoolwork, or appreciating nature will help them in their later years, because I think one great thing about outdoor pursuits is it stays with you forever. So learning how to fish now, you can do it until you're retired with your grandkids. So I think one of the pitfalls is just encouraging kids to do more outside activities instead of, because usually it's not encouraged as an academic version of something, but I think it's important for kids to have that so that they can do better at their academic studies or with their other sports and activities.
Over the course of a summer, over 200 kids will get an opportunity to give fishing a try through the Edmonton River Valley program. Coming up, Alma does her best to keep up with some kids who really know their way around a pair of snowshoes.
Alberta Conservation Association. Since 1997, more than $120 million has gone towards conserving wildlife and fish and securing habitat, creating a lasting legacy for Albertans.
We're at the Ferrier gas plant just outside Rocky Mountain House, where Devon Energy is laying down a pipeline. What's interesting about this story is that that pipeline is going underneath a national park. The fact of the matter is that this processing plant has been on the site since 1969. It was during an expansion of the plant in the early 70s which led to a discovery of a native burial ground, triggering Parks Canada to designate the area as a National Heritage Site. Given the age of the oil and gas fields, a new approach to moving these resources from the processing plant was needed. The solution? An 800-meter-long pipeline was proposed to national parks for consideration.
I think they wanted to know everything. They're very new to our industry, did not have a lot of understanding of what we were doing and why and what approach we could take. And they had a lot of concerns. Well, the key thing that was undertaken, and it is a regulatory requirement with the federal government, is to do an environmental impact assessment, to take a look at this project and this pipeline, and see what impact it would have to the environment, both in terms of air, water, land usage, but also in terms of an archaeological sense, which is very important here because this is really a heritage site. And that report was submitted, Parks reviewed it and accepted it. As a follow-up to that, there was an actual archaeological dig here. Wherever we would disturb the ground with our drilling rig, we did a dig to ensure that there was nothing of historic significance there.
Yet a traditional pipeline was not an option in this case, as it posed a threat to any undiscovered artifacts. And despite the several $100,000 it would take, Devon saw the only option was to go deep using a horizontal drilling technique.
Although this isn't a drilling rig for drilling an oil and gas well, it's actually for drilling a pipeline into the ground, if you will. So it drills a hole and then pulls the pipe back in once it's gone through and drilled the hole. And we've used this technology for crossing rivers and streams and other environmentally sensitive areas, or areas where it's just not practical to do conventional pipelining.
Working with Parks proved to be a fairly smooth process and demonstrated a balance between protecting a National Historic Site while meeting our energy requirements. So what do you think would happen if you gave a couple dozen kids a pair of snowshoes and send them outside in -20 temperatures? Well, our Alma asked that very question. Despite the bright sunshine, it's a shivering -20 degrees. But that doesn't stop this group of young naturalists from donning their snowshoes for a trek around the Kerrywood Nature Center in Red Deer. Our Alma is going along with Caden and the rest of them. The goal of the Young Naturalist Clubs is to promote being outdoors and learning more about nature. Kids that participate are between 5 and 10 years old, and their parents are encouraged to join in too.
So Judy, what's the purpose of having these kind of outdoor activities on a cold day like such?
Well, it's trying to get the kids outside, away from the Nintendos and the computers and things like that, get them to appreciate nature, and snow and cold is part of nature, so we just want them to enjoy.
Well, it looks like Alma has got this snowshoeing thing figured out. The deep snow isn't tripping her up at all.
Yes, good job!
Whoops, spoke too soon.
Go, kids, go!
Go, Alma, go! I'm gonna win!
The challenge is on. Can Alma outshoe the young people? Just like in the Olympics, there's a false start.
I did not say go! Get back! Go!
They're off, and Alma races out to an early lead before she does a face plant into the snow. The steady Chloe calmly takes the lead and cruises to a gold place finish. Alma gets tripped up right before the finish line, but stretches out to take the bronze.
Okay, so I didn't come in first place, but third or fourth works for me.
Alma seems to be a popular target today.
Being picked on?
Yeah, they're picking on me because I'm such a good snowshoer.
You guys want to build a snow snake?
Judy Boyd leads this young naturalist club and organizes the activities with some help from parents. Family memberships are only $15 a year, and new members are always welcome.
Do you guys see the rainbow beside the sun? Yeah. You know what it's called? It's called a sundog, and you know what it means? It means there are ice crystals in the air.
I had heard about the Naturalist Society for Young Children and thought it would be perfect for Trinity and also for myself as a parent to get involved in.
Do you guys know what this is?
Chickadee.
That's right, it's a chickadee.
Well, it seems wonderful, and the kids are very interactive and very involved, and Judy seems terrific in engaging, the kids and getting them to think about nature and animals and doing crafts and activities and hands-on things and getting them to expand their imagination.
And
Bear. Hibernate. Black bear.
yeah, you know what?
Hibernate.
Sort of.
Oh.
They don't really hibernate. They sleep a lot, but they can wake up.
I found
And
one.
if you ever find a bear in the middle of winter and he's awake,
You go
he's
chase it.
grumpy.
You chase
Very grumpy. Stay away from him. No, you don't chase him.
I'm sitting here with Chloe, and Chloe, what are we building here? What is this?
Snow snake.
Oh, it's a snow snake. And why did you decide to make a snow snake?
Because we made one outside.
So do you prefer to sit in your PJs at home on a cold day watching TV, or do you like going outside and spending time in the snow?
I like going outside.
Why?
It's more fun to do stuff outside than just sit inside.
The Young Naturalist Club wants learning about nature and wildlife to be fun. Parents are encouraged to spend time with their kids exploring the wild outdoors. For more information, go to naturealberta.ca. Take a drive through the Rockies and often you'll see game animals along the side of the highway licking the ground. More times than not, they're eating the minerals that are found along the side of the road. But as you will discover, there are some very rich mineral deposits in the backcountry that attract animal and man alike. To the untrained eye, this might appear to be nothing more than a muddy bog that a lot of animals just happen to walk through.
You can see the lick runs over top of this little hump, and there's another little wet area over on the other side.
But in reality, this muddy soup is sort of a pharmacy, providing minerals for all kinds of wildlife.
A lot of people, I think, assume that a mineral lick is strictly just salt-based, and there's no doubt that most animals have evolved to crave salt, but the mineral licks also provide a lot of the other essential minerals that we all need, and a lot of the common ones are calcium, magnesium, and potassium.
This is the first year of a study biologists with the Alberta Conservation Association are conducting to look at the importance mineral licks have on various wildlife species.
They're special because all animals require minerals just for overall health, and even humans, we have to get these minerals as well through various ways, and this is the way that wildlife are able to access these minerals. Sodium is a mineral which is not usually present on land, and it's highly soluble in water, so usually the rainfall will take any sodium that is available on land. It usually concentrates in these seep areas, and that's where it becomes available to animals.
Mineral licks are often found in low-lying areas near a water source. It's the water that will bring the minerals to the surface, but there are other forms of licks higher in the mountains as well.
In some of the higher elevation licks that are being used by goats and sheep, they're not in a flat area usually like this. They're often sort of dug out on a slope. It can often be quite a small area that's being licked upon. And sometimes the main area where they're licking might be no bigger than maybe a 1 meter diameter hole that they really seem to focus on. And sometimes they dig right inside those holes and just keep on going towards the center of the source of the minerals that they're after.
One of the ways that they are studying what kind of animals come into these mineral licks is the use of trail cameras, and every once in a while there's a bit of a surprise.
About a week ago, 10 wolves had come in right onto the lick area, and we got 3 real nice shots of the 10 wolves. They were all gray wolves. It was one of the best of the season just on photo quality and the animals within the frame of the picture. But yeah, it was pretty neat to see.
In fact, just a few hours before we arrived at this mineral site, a grizzly bear had wandered through.
These little claw marks? That could be a grizzly.
The camera's showing a bear here at 10:53 this morning.
Currently, the ACA is looking at 10 mineral sites, but there are over 80 located in the immediate area that they're interested in, and they're not that easy to find.
There's a lot of game trails through here. We're going to follow one, but it's easy to get off track.
Each site that we visited required a checkup on the various trail cameras that had been set up. And when it comes to understanding the impact these mineral sites have on animals, it is the trail camera that can provide the best insight.
So Mike puts a code into all these cameras so that if someone was to ever steal it, it would not be useful to them. Hopefully that'll mitigate against someone actually coming in and stealing these cameras that we have around.
In fact, the exact locations we visited are closely guarded, in part to protect the animals and out of respect for the individuals who have provided their own information to the ACA on where these sites are located. In the end, it's hoped the information gathered by studying these sites will influence how we move ahead not only with recreational access, but industrial development as well.
And hopefully provide managers with a little bit of ammunition to get some sort of setback placed on these special areas, because without them it would be pretty tough for some of these populations.
Okay, you ready, Don? Yep. 1, 2, 3, up.
Coming up, we'll meet a group of Albertans who don't let any barriers get in the way of enjoying Alberta's great outdoors.
The Alberta Hunter Education Instructors Association delivers conservation programs about Alberta's wildlife and fish, which need to be managed for future generations. To date, AHIA has instructed over 1 million students.
Pheasants Forever celebrates its 20th year in Alberta in 2012. We are dedicated to the conservation of pheasants and other upland wildlife through habitat improvements, public awareness, education, and land management policies and programs.
Every year, Alberta Park staff host a very special event called Push to Open. It's designed to encourage all Albertans, no matter what their ability, to get out and enjoy some time in the outdoors.
My guided walk tomorrow at the ski trails is called Beavers. Slow, fat, stinky, and awesome.
They've come from all over the province to enjoy the outdoors here. Those who, for one reason or another, life has thrown a few extra obstacles in their way, and along with them, the family members and volunteers who come to help remove those obstacles.
This event and all the events around Push to Open and about adaptive recreation are really about interdependence, about us realizing how everybody needs everybody else. We need to work together to have a great experience.
There, look at that.
That's teamwork.
There we go.
To drive that point home, each person passes an egg around using only one hand and naming their favorite thing that can be found in an Alberta park.
Dale, dandelion.
Nice. They're in our parks, yeah. Okay, so to Kaylin.
Thank you. My name is Kaylin, and I'm going with kayakers because they're about as natural as you can get. What?
Awesome.
Kayaking or canoeing is one of the activities the participants can choose to do today. That's something Dale hasn't done for 25 years. Quen has never done it before.
I've been looking forward to kayaking all summer, and I think I missed 3 opportunities going kayaking, so when Chris called me, I'm like, yeah, count me in.
Quen's family came with her to enjoy the outdoor experience. Quen's game for any challenge. Here she is completing the Birkebeiner cross-country ski event.
Okay, you ready, Don? Yep. 1, 2, 3, up.
Special attention is given to ensure Quen is comfortable in her seat. Her paddle is taped to her glove to make gripping it easier for her.
Lift your legs and your brain.
Their trip starts here at Eagle Point Provincial Park near Drayton Valley. They won't be alone. Gulls circle nearby. And there's wildlife floating down the North Saskatchewan.
Hey, we're on TV!
Gwen says she's not nervous, but is prepared to get wet.
I know Chris will definitely, break me in by throwing me in water at least once.
Roland from Red Deer is ready to go. Meanwhile, Dale from Calgary gets seated in his canoe. However, the leaders are concerned he's riding a little high in his seat and is at greater risk of tipping over.
I think we need to think of a solution where we get you lower, Dale, down into the bottom of the boat.
Okay.
A 4-hour journey awaits, so it's important that everyone is made comfortable.
Society says you can't do lots of things, and you can do anything you want. You might have to adapt, and sometimes you have to do little different things, different ways.
And looking very comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, she looks pretty happy in there.
Yeah.
One by one, the canoes make their way onto the river. It's a beautiful, warm summer day, one that many here will talk about for a long time.
It's very wonderful to be a part of showing a part of the world and a part of nature that other people wouldn't normally get that opportunity to, and seeing it through new eyes and fresh eyes with big smiles and happiness and joy for all the little, bugs and everything that they normally wouldn't get to see. It just really brings a new freshness to something that you already love.
We'll have more on the Push to Open program in an upcoming episode. In the meantime, more information is available at pushtoopen.ca.
Wild Sheep Foundation Alberta promotes and enhances wild sheep populations and habitat through the funding of programs that support responsible wildlife management, conservation education, youth involvement, and the preservation of our hunting heritage.
Hi, I'm Brad Fenson with the Alberta Fish and Game Association with your outdoor tip of the week. This week we're going to talk about calling game, or the call of the wild. Lots of times when we're out pursuing game, we try to attract them or draw them to us by using different calls. There are some specific techniques that you need to learn and know in order to do it properly, and to demonstrate that this week, we're going to use a duck call. Whenever you're using any type of waterfowl call, you want to blow it with specific air direction, which means you don't want to put it in your mouth and blow with your cheeks, because it's going to make it sound more like a kazoo or something like that. You always want to blow from your diaphragm. You want to push the air up from your diaphragm, so you're actually pushing when you're your whole upper body sometimes moves, you can feel it. So instead of sounding, you want it to sound, it's a deeper tone, you're going to get more volume. The other thing is, when you put it in your mouth, you want to push it up against your upper lip. That way you can force the air into the call and get the volume that you need in order for those birds to hear it from a long ways out. You actually want to talk into these calls when you're using them. Instead of just blowing air, we're actually going to say voot, voot, and it actually gives it a real good raspy sound. So when you're calling wildlife, you need to learn and remember, push the air from your diaphragm, not your cheeks, blow directionally into the call, and talk into it.
Well, over the course of this season here at Let's Go Outdoors, we've been coming to you from the Wild Alberta Gallery, and we've been doing that thanks in no small part to my next guest, Deborah Andrews from the Royal Alberta Museum. You deal with a lot of the public programs, the education programs, and letting people know what is coming up.
Well, like you mentioned, we've got this gallery that's a permanent gallery, so this is here all the time for people to be able to visit. And then we've got the Aboriginal Gallery also here year-round. It's one of our galleries. And we have gems and bugs and birds and everything you can possibly imagine. Our Gem and Mineral Gallery, actually, something a lot of people don't realize, is probably the largest, most comprehensive exhibit like that, gallery like that in Western Canada. So we're actually really, really lucky to have that gallery here.
There are a lot of surprises here. You know, of course, we did the feature with Pete Hewley and Elma upstairs in the bug room, and we had a lot of fun up there. But it really is a living, breathing building in terms of what people can come in here and explore and discover about not only other places around the world, but a lot about what is here in Alberta.
Well, exactly. This gallery in and of itself is basically like hiking through Alberta, and you get to see all the different scenes and the different animals that you would encounter on a hike through Alberta, but you get to do it in the warmth of the museum.
And of course, there's lots of other things that happen here in terms of the types of research that are done, and that's kind of behind the closed doors, and certainly we hope to show some features down the road about some of that work that takes place. But that is a big part of what a museum, especially the Royal Alberta Museum, does.
Very much so. We have 13 curatorial programs, and so there's a lot of behind-the-scenes activity that people don't realize, the kinds of research that's going on. It makes it very interesting to work here, very exciting to be around people who are experts in their field, and getting to hear about their new discoveries, which happen almost daily.
And of course, a lot of that knowledge shared, especially with school kids. You offer a pretty comprehensive school program.
Yeah, we do. We have education programs, so people can sign up for that. Teachers can connect with the education program. And we also have museum school. That's also very popular.
We started this interview off by indicating some of the upcoming features. Yes. Let's go back onto that and talk about a few more of the features that are in store for the museum.
A few going on. There's 2 photo exhibits, both of which are completely different from one another. One is more focused on moths, and a photography exhibition of moths up close, really up close. Some of them are as large as 2 meters in size when it's all expanded out. And then the other photo exhibit is Faces of Labor. I know that one of the next big exhibits that'll be here throughout the entire summer is called Wolf to Woof. And that, of course, will be highly popular because of its content being dogs, and wolves and dogs and how they relate, and also the different kinds of dogs, the working dogs and the service dogs, the rescue dogs and heroic dogs.
Now, can people bring their dogs into the museum?
Well, no, they can't bring their dogs in, but I know our public programming department is hard at work to come up with some different ideas of different programming.
Well, it sounds like the museum is going to be a happening place over the next number of months. Deb, thank you again for allowing us to be a part of it and sharing it with our viewers right across Alberta, and we look forward to sitting down with you again in the near future to find out more about what's coming up here at the Royal Alberta Museum.
We're happy to have you.
Canada's cold water resources need you. Trout Unlimited Canada delivers conservation results for our freshwater ecosystems and their cold water resources. Our work includes stream restoration, scientific research, and education through our Yellowfish Road program.
Alberta Conservation Association. Since 1997, more than $120 million has gone towards conserving wildlife and fish and securing habitat, creating a lasting legacy for Albertans.
If you would like to catch previous stories featured on Let's Go Outdoors, then track down our website at letsgooutdoors.ca. Remember, the outdoors is here for all of us to enjoy. If you see someone taking away from that enjoyment, call the Report a Poacher line. Till next time, I'm Michael Short. Let's go outdoors.
I know where I want to be. Outside, wild and free. Let's go outdoors. Let's go outdoors. You and me. Let's go outdoors where the waters run clear and cold. Mother Nature's world is better than gold. So much to see, so much to do. Let's go outdoors.